Well, our team is on the ground in Florida working for answers round the clock on the disappearance of Caylee Anthony. Producer Steph Watts and former homicide detective Ted Williams, who you saw earlier, take a minute-by-minute look at exactly what we know about this case.
On June the 9th, law enforcement determined, based upon an affidavit, that Caylee Anthony claims that she brought her daughter Caylee here to this location, to this apartment. And it was at this location that she claimed that she turned her daughter over and dropped off with a babysitter by the name of Zanea Gonzalez. Well, Zanea Gonzalez does in fact exist. But the problem with that, and law enforcement has checked it out, is that she only came to this apartment to look at an apartment. They also found out that the apartment in question was vacant for 142 days. On July the 15th, in this house, Cindy Anthony made a phone call. Cindy Anthony, the grandmother of Caylee Anthony, made a phone call to try to get her daughter, Caylee Anthony, arrested. And during the course of at least two phone conversations, she informed law enforcement that her granddaughter, Caylee Anthony, had been missing. After a web of deceit and lies, the investigators wound up here at Universal Studios. Caylee Anthony informed investigators that two of her co-workers, who she worked currently here at Universal Studios, had knowledge of her looking for her child, Caylee. But guess what? Investigators came here, talked to investigators here, and they were able to determine several different things. One, that Caylee Anthony was fired from Universal Studios in April of 2006, and that she had not worked here. She also gave the name of two co-workers. One of them had worked here, but the other person that she gave the name of, a female co-worker, was no longer working here, or by the way, had never worked here. On July the 16th, after many webs of inconsistencies and lies, Caylee Anthony was brought here to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. She was questioned further by investigators. She told more lies, and as a result of that, she was charged with child neglect, lying during the course of an official investigation, and obstructing a criminal investigation. Behind this fence is the home of Cindy Anthony. Law enforcement came to this location on July the 17th, and they searched that backyard. They also brought in cadaver dogs, and as a result of that, the cadaver dogs hit that there was some decomposition found in the backyard. On July the 17th, law enforcement came here to this location, and they decided to take the car away, and they searched the car that Caylee Anthony was driving. They did a forensic cleansing of that automobile. They took hair samples, they took samples from the carpet, they took dirt from the automobile, any and everything that they could to try to make a determination as to what actually happened to young Caylee. In the middle of June, Caylee Anthony came to this house, the home of a neighbor, where she borrowed a shovel. Now, there's a big dispute as to whether she borrowed this shovel before young Caylee Anthony went missing or whether she borrowed it afterwards. Law enforcement tells us that it was after Caylee went missing that Caylee borrowed the shovel. However, her lawyer tells us that it was before Caylee went missing that she borrowed the shovel. I got to tell you, I'm more inclined to believe law enforcement. These are professional law enforcement officers, and if they have information, and quite naturally they do, they have quite a bit of information that we don't have, and if they believe that she borrowed that shovel from this neighbor after Caylee went missing, I have to also believe that.
And as you saw earlier, there are also photographs of Caylee Anthony partying at a club on June 20th when she says she was conducting her own search for missing Caylee. Well, thanks to all of you for being here with us tonight. I'm Megan Kelly in for Greta Van Susteren. I will see you tomorrow.